Hello, so this is going to be another webcam stream. If you're new to the channel and you're wondering why I'm wearing a creepy gas mask, it's because I like to collect gas masks in militaria. If you want to support the channel, you can either buy my Teespring links, stuff on the Teespring links below, merchandise, or you can support me on Patreon or Super Chat. Anyway, hopefully there's already people in the chat. There is. Excellent. Weapon Collector suggested that I do a little intro while I'm waiting for people to come on, but everybody appeared pretty much straight away today, which is good. So, hello everybody, it's just saying hello. I've got the SHMS on today with the big red Polish filter for it, which is pretty cool. I filmed a video on this filter the other day, but obviously it's not gone live yet. But there you can see in the bag, there's the big Polish red sort of safe EO14 filter allegedly. Looks like the industrial filter for it. No, I'm not from London. Yeah, I've got the red filter on. Yep. I just said at the beginning, Mike, you might have missed it. I did the little intro like you suggested, so thanks for suggesting that. Probably not Everton though, because the thing is, you need to know in advance that it's happening. But can everybody hear me alright? I'm pretty sure it's transmitting audio this time, because as I said with some of the streams I've had the problem where it's muted them. Probably over 100 Elite SAS, but I'm not sure exactly. Right, what I'm just going to see if I can do, because I've got the SHMS on, I'm just going to see if I can get my glasses to sit just... barely. Yep, don't forget to like the stream, everybody, because it does seem to help them get shared. So, what's funny today, I won't bother with the glasses, I'll just lean in closer to the chat. I actually managed to wear my gas mask at work. Not intentionally to begin with, but we were having to clean up this place that was really dirty at work. And sort of because the smell was so bad, I jokingly said to my manager, well, I've got a gas mask in the car if you want me to go get it. I think he must have thought I was joking, but he said, yeah, sure, go and get it. So I got the gas mask on. It was my FM12, and it made it really good for cleaning the stuff up. So, yeah, practical use for a gas mask is that you can obviously clean in a smelly environment with it on, and feel absolutely fine. Maybe Army Surplus Stores, Vladimir, or eBay. Obviously that would be ones without ammunition in them, to be legal in the UK, but yeah, Army Surplus places normally sell ammo cans, or like on eBay you can buy them. And they're deactivated because all the weapons I own are perfectly legal to own in the UK, so the rifles are deactivated. Yeah, this is the East German bag, because it's like that vinyl coated one. They're a bit better quality than the Soviet ones. The Soviet bags are just the ones that are like the canvas material, whereas the East German ones are the ones with the kind of vinyl coated material, which means they're actually a lot better in terms of quality. I got my Yugo M2 or Serbian M2 from eBay, but I don't know if I've actually seen any on there since I got mine. Now I'm going to just wear this mask for the beginning of the stream, and then a bit later on I'll take the mask off so I can drink. But drink, of course, from my merchandise mug to advertise it and shill my merchandise as I'm on the stream. I'm hoping if I wear this mask for long enough at the beginning of the stream, it will at least let me have it as the thumbnail. Because the annoying thing with YouTube live streams is because it doesn't evenly take the free thumbnails through the stream, it often does it on what it thinks looks like the best bits of the video. Quite often you can't actually choose where you get the actual thumbnails, if that makes sense. So I'm hoping if I wear the SHMS for long enough, I'll actually at least be able to get a thumbnail of the shims on. I can't pressure check easily because the filter's in the bag, but you can probably see it is pressure checking a bit. It should be fine, but obviously I can't completely pressure check the filter with it in the bag. No, that's a stupid thing to do, Everton. Yeah, the M40 is a pretty good mask. The only problem with the US M40 is it's made from silicone, so while it's comfortable, you actually need the second skin on it for it to resist certain chemicals. Glad you enjoy the videos. Is that Renglin? Sorry, because I've not got my glasses on because I'm wearing the mask, I can't actually read the usernames all that well. If it's in certain types of luggage, you could probably take a mask for an airport, but it depends on the country and how strict they're being on certain regulations, I imagine. In theory, there's nothing illegal with it, but obviously, because of all like the anti-terror laws and things like that, they might not be that impressed if you did it. So obviously I've been working today because it's the weekend, so I've got some days off now, although I'll still obviously be doing YouTube stuff and I volunteer on Thursdays. Bart's finally had his Bokken arrive, so hopefully on Tuesday we'll be able to do a sparring video of both of us fighting with Bokkens, which should be interesting. Out of all the masks I've got, the Avon CT12 is my favourite, so either my CT12 or my FM12 are my go-to masks for an actual scenario. I'm not posh at all. I think the mask might make me sound a bit more posh than I actually am. But that might just be the voice diaphragm distorting my actual voice. Not many Iron Man Spartan. There's a few gas masks that have been made in like green or sort of brown colours. But the only camouflage gas mask I actually know of, there's two. The first one, it's pretty rare, it's called the Australian Light Anti-Gas Respirator, and it's the Australian-built version of the British Light Anti-Gas Respirator. And they actually made that from, they put colours into the moulding process, so that is camouflaged. It's like brown, green and black, I think. Also the current issue, or one of the current issue Russian military masks, and I can't remember, is it called the RAU? It's like that lightweight disposable mask. That's made in camo, but the majority of nations just do their gas masks in either black or white. They're not designed to be really camouflaged. Yeah, there's a PPSH in the corner there, you can actually see its barrel. But I won't get it out at the moment because I'll have to juggle about with all the wires. I just find gas masks interesting, and they're pretty practical. But as you can see in general, I just find all sorts of like military surplus and military history stuff interesting. It's just that gas masks are one of the particular kind of creepy and interesting things. Because obviously if somebody's wearing one of these, you know that something bad's happened. Because you wouldn't wear one, you know, for day-to-day sort of use. It's fairly restricted, but because the lenses sit so close to the eyes, you can actually see fairly well. So it restricts more than some masks do, that's for sure. But the field of view isn't as bad as you'd think. But obviously the plus side of a mask like this is that you can use it with scopes and things like that. Because the point of this mask was for people who needed to use optics. So you could look through like artillery scopes or, you know, like sniper scopes, rifle scopes, anything like that. I think tank crews were later issued these, although this wasn't the first generation Soviet tank mask, that would be the MM1. I live with my family, I'm in the UK, so yeah, living alone is pretty impractical for somebody of my age range. To give you some idea, the houses in my area, even small houses, around £400,000 plus. £300,000 for the small houses in bad areas that need renovation work. In some parts of the UK, houses are cheaper, but in general they're completely unaffordable for most people now. Sadly, I don't have a Romanian M74 mask, but it's a copy of the German M65, isn't it? Which is one of the ones behind me. So it's probably quite a good mask, but I'll get one if I ever see one for sale for a decent price, but whenever I've seen them for sale, they've been like £40 plus postage. I wouldn't really pay that for just an M65 clone. Yeah, but not necessarily older tanks, I remember. And the idea was that these masks would be used by anybody, well, not necessarily this mask, but, you know, the Soviet tank masks would be used in every single armoured vehicle. So tank crews, or like BMP crews, infantry fighting vehicle crews, APC crews, they'd all be issued with masks like this. So regardless of if the vehicle had an NBC overpressure system or not, they could use the masks. And I think it's also because some vehicles, apparently, even when they had an NBC system, it might take a few minutes to kick in, so the crew could put the masks on while they waited for the tank to pressurise. Things like modern British and NATO tanks, all those, yeah, do have NBC systems, but I don't think lots of things like T-55s and BMP-1s originally did. And because the Soviets were going to issue all their troops with masks anyway, they might as well make a mask optimised for a crewman. I can't remember if I said earlier, but I'm only going to be streaming for about an hour tonight, because obviously I've been at work today. I'm a bit tired. I'll be watching Weapon Collector's stream later on if he's doing one on Twitch. But that's because I don't need to talk much, you know, and if I'm nodding off during it, it's going to be alright, but... No, Uncle Sasha, I will not be your wife. No, the problem is the GSR filter wouldn't let air through it, because it only lets air through it when it connects on that bayonet thing. It's a weird design. So, I mean, you might be able to modify it, but I don't think it would really fit the PBF. The GSR filters are actually bigger than the PBF filters as well. You might actually notice that where I've got this mask attached to this filter, it's not making a weird breathing noise. You know, where it sounds like the mask's farting. Because when you've got this mask attached to a big filter, the air pressure is not so high that it kind of makes the voice diaphragm reverberate. But I bet, let me just try unplugging the filter a minute. Or just for the person asking for a pressure check. There you go. It crushes my nose doing it. There you go, right. Let's see if it starts farting now. Yeah, so as you can hear, if you've not got a filter attached to this mask, the valves sort of flap too rapidly. So let's put that back on. Pepper spray is illegal in the UK, so I can't test a mask with pepper spray. A GP5M, like the one in the background, has ear holes in it. Most NATO masks have ear holes in it. It's only really Soviet masks that cover the ears. Anyway, let's pop the filter back into its bag. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody, if you haven't liked the stream so far, because it does seem to help the stream get shared, but it seems like we had quite a lot of viewers come on initially tonight, which is good, which means the notification had to be sent out, especially because I only announced it on the Patreon server that I was going to be on. Now that's annoying, laser point production. How long do you think till they sort that out? But you've already donated enough to me, so thank you. Also, tomorrow I might try and stream some Fallout 76, because Laser Point Production gave me a free copy of it. We had a spare CD key. So, the problem is it's making my PC stutter, and it's crashed the actual PC at least once. But if Fallout 76 does run well enough, I will try and stream a little bit on YouTube. Well, if you can get an FM12, Culloden, that would be, it's like the modern, better version of the S10, but sometimes they're actually cheaper because there's more of them on the surplus market now than S10s. But if you can't get an S10, maybe something like the GP7 behind me there. I know it doesn't look too much like an S10, but it's that kind of design mask. Maybe a Fushida F2, but again that's probably going to cost more than an S10. maybe a British Light anti-gas respirator. It doesn't look all that much like an S10, but it's a cool looking mask. Or maybe an S6, because again, it's an old-fashioned British mask, so it's kind of, it depends what you're looking for. Right, glad you enjoyed the video, Central Florida Prepper. Sorry, it's always nice when people say they like the videos. Don't post anything illegal, Michael. That's going to be your last warning for something like that. I know it's only your first warning, but don't post anything like that at all on here. My one's been absolutely fine, Gregor, but I've heard some people have had trouble with theirs. I think it depends if you've got the second model, like I've got, which had the drinking tube removed. That's quite reliable, but if you've got an earlier model that would have had the drinking tube, I think that's where there's a lot of problems with them. In theory, yeah, Iron Man Spartan, I think they could make masks with a very thin layer of Kevlar in. But I suppose in that sort of situation where nerve agent's being used or whatever, you know, a bit of shrapnel, if it penetrates your NBC suit or whatever, anywhere, you're dead, aren't you? So it probably isn't that important at that point. Yeah, it's a very cool mask. It's one of my favourites. It's my favourite Soviet mask, because it's pretty efficient and it's creepy looking. Especially actually if you even just have the face piece without the rest of the hood on it. You know, like this bit. Because that's just quite a creepy shaped thing anyway. No, this is from like the 60s and 70s. It might have been the 70s it was first produced, but it's a Soviet mask designed for snipers and people who had to use optics. It's illegal for everybody but the police, basically. It's classed as a Section 5 firearm, so the police are allowed to have it, but not civilians. Depends. What do you mean, like collector's value rather than actual, like protection use? It generally try and find prototype masks, or like masks produced in very few numbers. Because prototype masks and like limited production run masks are obviously a lot more valuable from a collector's point of view. I just realised from the side this mask looks a bit like the NPC face. Orange man bad, orange man bad, orange man bad, orange man bad. When I bought mine, they were in the £20 to £30 range. I'll have a look on eBay and see if there's any for sale, and then I can tell you, but I haven't looked for obviously this mask in ages, because one for £15 on eBay. Another one for £15. All around the £15 kind of price range, it seems. So £15 to £20. I don't know if all of those come with the bags and the accessories. But yeah, if you search SHMS into eBay, SHMS gas masks, they're all about £15 to £20 at the price range. It's actually not uncomfortable. Because it's a rubber hood, it squeezes on your voice box and your chin a little bit there, but otherwise it's not too uncomfortable, strangely enough. It might depend on the kind of gas. It certainly won't protect you from nerve agents or anything really nasty. They did do an anti-gas ointment in World War II, but I don't know exactly what was in it, but that prevented blister agents from damaging the skin and doing nowhere near as much damage as they normally would. No, because if you look, my hair is very short. If you get long hair, yeah, these masks are a pain in the ass, putting them on and off. But when you have short hair like mine, it isn't a problem whatsoever. I could put a creepy filter on for a bit if you want. Let's see what it looks like with a filter on. Right, there's the black and white filter. What's this one look like? There we go. Yeah, it does look quite good like that, doesn't it? I think these masks always look really creepy if the contrast is high enough that you can't see the eyes behind the masks. Yeah, I might do an updated one at some point, Iron Man Spartan. I'll probably do an updated one when I can actually get the plate carrier for it. I'm pretty sure that's from the school, Joel, where people looted them and just spread the masks all over the floor because the masks weren't actually worth anything. M14s, the Polish masks, have a shiny metal. Let me take the filter off and I'll show you. So on a GP5, the metal is like this bit. You've got the quite compact piece of metal that's in brown. The M14, the Polish mask, has a chunkier piece of metal on it, and it's in like a silver colour. It's zinc, I think. When I next do a spooky stream, I want to find my PBF mask so I can turn it inside out. I don't actually know where I've put it now, it's annoying me. I've probably put it somewhere safe and out the way so it's not taking up any room, and I obviously can't find it. Which is a problem when you don't have enough storage space for all the masks. So in an ideal world, I'd just have a room where I could store all the masks in rows on shelves, and then if ever I want to find a mask, I'd know exactly where it is. But as I store my masks here, there and everywhere around the house, quite often I can't find them. It probably depends on the mask, Edward Stanley, because some are set up differently from others, but I imagine on most you would need a tank on them, because they're probably set up to only supply air through the airline. Good morning, Alpha Omega. I hope you're not having a bad dream. When you say starched, you mean stretched? Not really. You need quite a lot of weight on the mask for a very long period to stretch it. Obviously you shouldn't really store masks hanging by their straps or headpieces, but as those masks that are hanging by the straps aren't really worth anything, it doesn't bother me. And they look good as a background. Between 30 and 50 pounds, I'd say, Culloden. Side mounted that's cheap. That's a more difficult question. The Finish M61 is very good, but it's 60, not 40mm. So you'd have to get a 60 to 40mm adapter for it. That would only cost you a few euros or pounds. But the problem is most modern side mounted filter masks are going to cost you quite a bit more. So I'd say, yeah, get a Finish M61. The V2 is my favourite model. That was also the first gas mask I ever owned. And then get a 60 to 40mm adapter for it. No, I don't think I've ever tried Russian honey cake, but I'm sure it would be tasty. I can hear absolutely fine. You'll notice that the ear bits on this are kind of made to be a bit thinner than the rest of the mask, so it's designed so you can hear through it quite well. It depends how big a nuclear bomb it was, but it's very unlikely there'll be a scenario where just one bomb goes off. It would be a Fred's kind of nuclear war scenario where everybody dies, basically. I think YouTube takes 30% laser point production, so if somebody gave me $10, they'd get $3, I'd get $7. So compared to Patreon and stuff like that, it does take a lot more, but I know some people just prefer doing super chats than donating off platform. But yeah, super chat is, I think, like YouTube takes about 30%, but I'm not totally sure. I didn't slow down the messages, Uncle Sasha, it was Weapon Collector. It was probably because you were spamming the chat. But if I make a funny face with a mask on, you wouldn't be able to tell, really, would you? Because I've got a mask on. Might be able to see my eyes look a bit different, but that'd be it. You can't tell if somebody's smiling or frowning behind a gas mask. What? A with umlauts on, whatever they're called. The accents. The one I paid the most for was my XM28, which I managed to break the other day on the stream, unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. But I don't think in the modern world there'd be a nuclear war scenario where one country, wins in a sense. It'd be mutually assured destruction. Yeah, if you cover the exhale valve, the mask does that. I'll get a Chinese FMJ08 at some point, but because I've had problems before with UK customs, even when I'm buying stuff that's perfectly legal, where customs have seized stuff, I'd be very cautious about getting one, because I wouldn't want somebody to send me one and then it gets seized, and I wouldn't want to pay a lot for one in case it gets seized. Well, I really don't know, Uncle Sasha. For me, no, but for some people, maybe. Probably depends how far away you live from other urban areas. If you live in quite a good off-grid place, then I'd say yeah. What would I recommend as a good chem suit? Probably like the old Warsaw Pact, like the Polish or East German NBC suits. You can buy them quite cheaply on eBay, and they're pretty good, versatile things. Obviously, in a full chemical attack, they would give you a lot more protection than just a mask, because the mask only protects your face and respiratory system and eyes. Things like nerve agent would get in through your skin and kill you anyway. Blister agents would destroy your skin, even if it doesn't kill you, leaving you permanently scarred and in terrible pain. But you can use NBC suits for like wading through quite deep water without getting wet, wearing them in very heavy rain or snow and staying totally dry. So yeah, if you buy a cheap surplus NBC suit, they're pretty good for things that aren't just gas mask related. Now the PDF masks, like the one in the background, as I said, it's because looters dumped them. But yeah, if people had been wearing the masks, it would have protected them from inhaling alpha radiation. The gamma radiation would have still been penetrating them though. But yeah, alpha radiation, which does the most damage if it gets in your body, it would have protected them from that because you wouldn't inhale it with a filter. When you say NPC suits, you mean NBC suits. Modern NBC suits have an expiration date on because they're often impregnated with charcoal, and the charcoal expires. Yep, I've already done a video on HBO's Chernobyl, but I'm really enjoying it, if enjoying it is the right word so far. I've watched every episode the day they've come out. I've watched episode 1 about 4 times, actually. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Tuesday, because on Tuesday, obviously, episode 4 is out, which I think is the bit showing the liquidation with, like, the bio-robots going into the roof to shovel, the graphite into the, hole in the roof. And it's going to have all the guys, spraying all the chemicals everywhere and all that sort of stuff. And then I think episode 5 is about the trial, isn't it, of, Dyatlov, Famine, and, is it Bakarin? The 3 people they charged with the Chernobyl disaster. To protect your groin, Kevin, funnily enough. Somebody was saying in the chat it's actually to protect your groin from shrapnel, from like grenades and IEDs. But apparently it's so awkward to wear it that a lot of soldiers choose not to wear it, and they obviously don't get protection. Because that's the problem with a lot of modern body armour, is that because it's quite heavy, bulky and cumbersome, a lot of the time it's more awkward to wear it, even if it does give you protection. Yeah, lots of people probably do consider me weird, Michael, but, lots of people are quite boring, aren't they, in a sense? You could be a complete normie, and you could not collect anything or do anything like that, and then, what would your interest be? I watch a television program. I like the latest pop songs. Orange Man Bad. I can't even see the NPC face on this mask now. Alright, Peach, it's just because of how the voice diaphragm works. But bear in mind, when the Soviets put the voice diaphragms on these, lots of nations didn't even put voice diaphragms on their masks. I've got 2 regular GP5s, I've got 2 GP5Ms, that black one there, and I've got the grey-white one as well. And I've also got a load of SHM series masks, or SHUM series masks, like the SHUM 41, the Polish M14s, the Polish MUA. No, I don't have any ammo boxes. I think my mate Bart's got a couple which he uses for storage, but I don't have any ammo boxes. It's one of those things that might be quite convenient, I've just never bought any. I've got all my old teeth from when I lost teeth as a kid, but I've not got other people's teeth because that would be a bit weird. No, I don't have any masks that were left behind, and they'd be illegal to take out of the exclusion zone for good reason, because obviously they'd be highly radioactive. I have the same models as some of those masks, like the PDFs in the background, but no, obviously I don't have anything from Chernobyl. The only Chernobyl related thing I have is a liquidator medal. At least 2 filters to have on hand, you know, one ready to go on the mask and another spare. As for at home, 2+, but obviously you want ones that aren't expired. But you also want to have a training filter, you know, so if you ever want to practice doing stuff with a mask, you actually have a filter you can use to practice with. But the more filters the better, and the longer the expiry dates on them the better as well. Well, thank you, Dr. Terminator Show. What do you mean by an M40 side cap review? Can you explain a bit more, and then I can definitely consider it. But I've already reviewed the M40, as in the US M40 mask. Is that something else? Let me just Google M40 side cap and see if it comes up with anything on Google. Well, as in the German World War II M40, like, little hat thing? No, because it's associated obviously with Nazi Germany, not really. I think if a big-scale world war kicked off again, yes, I think it would inevitably go hot, because I think the losing side would probably use nukes rather than being occupied. Yeah, I wouldn't get something like that. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to getting something like that, but I wouldn't really want to do, you know, a lot of stuff kind of with it, just because I don't like the connotations of a lot like the Nazi stuff, if that makes sense. Depends what you mean by a homemade weapon, but again, let's not talk about anything illegal, please. Yeah, the M45 is very interesting, but I've never seen any for sale on UK eBay, because bear in mind, with American masks, they're illegal for Americans to export unless it's being sold by the US government. So the chances of seeing a sort of US mask for sale in the UK is quite low anyway, which is why I've got so few American masks compared to a lot of other nations. So if it's a rare American mask, the chances of finding one are very slim. Of course, if I saw them for a good price, I'd still pick one up. As I already said, yes, there's PDF masks in the background, which are the same as the Chernobyl masks. My favourite camo, at the moment, probably Soviet SS Lito camo, but I also like German Fleckton. You can see some German Fleckton trousers of pink in the background here. Or maybe it's yellow. So Fleckton is one of my favourites. Favourite helmet, the UK Armed Police Commando helmet, which is a clone of the US Pasca in Kevlar 3A. A lot of Russian camouflage patterns at the moment are just copies of Western patterns or modifications of Western patterns, so I don't think there's any real difference in it. There are a lot of Russian patterns I do really like. Well, I know of the country Macedonia, obviously the one that's near Greece and a former member of Yugoslavia, but I don't know much about the Macedonian military. My favourite gas mask Jack the Beast is the Avon CT-12. This is my favourite Soviet mask though, the SHMS or the Shims. Homemade gas masks are better than nothing, but not very good, because it's very hard to make a homemade mask with proper valves and that seals to your face properly. The Ushanka, I imagine, should mould your head, because they're made from a soft material, aren't they? So, as long as you're not buying one that's really large or really small, it should fit you comfortably, I imagine. Yeah, M81, like British 95 DPM, is a brilliant camo. It's like one of the classic woodland ones, yeah. Both it and 95 DPM, if I was in a woodland, they'd be one of the camos I'd pick. Right, see you, Richard, thanks for joining in. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody, if you haven't liked the stream so far, because I've probably only mentioned that once or twice. Right, I'll tell you what, I'll take this mask off now. Let's see if it's left the mark on my face. Oh, not too much. Yeah, right, I can put my glasses on now and read the comments a bit better. But actually, my face does look a bit purple in places, doesn't it? So it's obviously, you can see where the masks cut the air supply to my face ever so slightly. But yeah, one of my favourite masks is Shums. I mean, it's 25 degrees Celsius here, so it's not too bad. Yesterday was like a 30-degree day in my room. Yeah, I'll go on Discord a bit later if you want to send me a PM. That's fine, yeah. Or just send me a PM now and then I can check it later. That's fine. Yeah, well, it actually looks a bit more purple to me. Like, you know, like you're being strangled, but yeah. It's because obviously the mask clings to your face. I mean, it's going to depend on the country, Joel, to be honest, because some nations keep using old masks just because they can't afford to replace them, but that doesn't necessarily mean... I don't think there's a Kalashnikov or gas mask. You could argue the GP5 is, but that's not even a military mask. I've seen the original Shrek, but I've not seen any of the sequels. At least I don't think I have. To an extent, Michael, yes. But only against certain things. It could be talc, big boy. The thing is, on the Soviet filters, because they have a rubber plug in the bottom and they put talc on the rubber plug, it could just be talc. It's not necessarily asbestos just because you see white powder. I'm not posh. My favourite Russian weapon, probably the AK-74. I like both the AK-74 and the AKM though. French World War II filters, I'm pretty sure would contain asbestos. Oh, let me check that unblock video quickly now then, Mike, and that way I can unblock the person. If it's a new person I haven't spotted yet. Let's have a quick look. Let me sort by newest first. Liquid Ocelot, let me have a look. Right, they are now unblocked. I'll post a comment on their comment now. There we go, you are unblocked. Done. Well, I've got 29 notifications from YouTube apparently. Well, only in YouTube videos. I don't use them on other people for obvious reasons. Because, you know, I'm not a violent person, even though I find military history quite interesting. And, you know, I don't intend harm to anybody. As I've already been asked about Romanian gas mask's stream, I don't have any, so I can't comment. But most of them are copies of the German M65, so they're probably quite decent masks, but I don't have any, so I can't comment. I have no idea what the most modern gas mask to be made is, Joel. It could be a mask made by literally any company, either industrial or military. But it does the same thing all other masks do. Block gas and particulates getting through the mask, and it probably is more comfortable than other masks or whatever. You know, better for speech diaphragms or whatever. But in theory, gas masks have done what they've done for 100 years, you know, since they came into use in World War I. Blocking gas and particles getting through the filter. I really like the American
Like, you know when they had M81 Woodland originally, but they had it with, like, the Pascut stuff? So, like, would it be, like, 90s America stuff? Before they went to, like, UCP and all those, where they had the guys in M81 Woodland with the Kevlar helmets and everything. As far as I'm aware, North Korea just uses Chinese and, like, Russian masks. I don't think they have a domestically made mask. They might do, but as far as I'm aware, they only kind of use, like, the Sino-Soviet kind of stuff. Swiss gas masks certainly exist. I do have a Swiss gas mask. I think it's the SM67 I have. But sadly, they're quite rare on eBay, so I've never got any more than just the one I've got. How much did the kerosene burner cost? Yeah, I'm good. I've finished work, so I'm not at work for another 5 days now, other than volunteering and doing YouTube stuff and stuff like that. Tomorrow I can probably do a stream in the evening, because I have a feeling we don't have a play rehearsal tomorrow evening, because I'm pretty sure, because it's a bank holiday, we don't have one. But Thursday I probably won't be able to do a stream, because I'm out volunteering in the morning and I have to go out in the evening. Well, I'd love to get a German M2000, but I've never seen one for less than £100. I don't want to pay £100 for a, you know, generic modern mask. I pay like 50, 60 quid for it. I wouldn't pay $150 for a Yushankan though. Yeah, Italy has quite a few domestic gas masks, but sadly I do not have any Italian gas masks. I wish I did. But I very rarely, like the same Romanian gas masks, see them on eBay for sale. Can you stop spamming the chat, please, Uncle Sasha? This will be your last warning for just putting random messages in that don't contribute anything to the chat. And I haven't played any COD games in ages. Look, to be honest, if I had to learn a second language, I'd want to learn one that'd be a pretty practical language to learn. So in some ways, maybe Chinese would be quite practical. If I had to learn another language, the easiest one for me to learn would be German, because German is the closest I can speak to a second language, and I'd still completely butcher that, but, you know, that would be the least difficulty in learning. But yeah, in practicality, I'd want to learn, probably, like, a language spoken by a very large population size, you know, or a country that's quite relevant, because I think that would be more useful, knowing one of those languages, than just knowing a random language. Well, don't think I'd ever see an American Mickey Mouse mask for sale, and if I did, I'm sure it would cost a hell of a lot of money. If I saw one very cheap, of course I would, because I could resell it for like several grand. That's a massive period of time, ProHacks, because World War I masks developed quite a lot just for over a few years. And then by 1940, yeah, lots of masks are quite advanced, but yeah, World War I masks are quite interesting in terms of how primitive they are. But again, like I was saying, because there's so many masks from the period of 1914 to 1940, it might surprise you. Because after World War I, most nations built or bought gas masks because they expected to have to need them for, you know, an upcoming war. To me, Dutch just sounds like a variant of German. I know it's probably quite different from German, but it sounds like a much more soft-spoken German. You could try using something like silicone lubricant on it, Alexander, but just be careful. You'd have to apply it to one little small patch of the mask and check it looks okay. Because silicone lubricant is good on some masks for preserving them, but on others it can damage the rubber. So it really depends on what kind of rubber the mask's been made from. You can't breathe underwater with a gas mask on, because gas masks use filters. You need an oxygen mask or an air mask, diver's mask, whatever you want to call it, for breathing underwater. I mean, in theory, it would be possible, because there's a video of somebody using a GP5 underwater, to rig an airline up with all the right systems to pretty much any gas mask, but they're not designed for it. And the pressure seals might not even survive underwater, because some masks, obviously, if the pressure outside is too high, the valves might just flood open. I don't know if any of the African nations have any domestically made gas masks. I mean, a lot of African nations have just bought surplus from other countries. Well, I think animal masks are quite cool as well, but I mean, it's a shame that we needed them, but animal masks kind of aren't used anymore because, you know, there's not much use for horses and stuff like that in modern militaries because they've been replaced by vehicles. East Germany, the best mask East Germany used would have been the Schums, like the one I was showing earlier. Because notice mine is actually in an East German carry case. It's in the East German style one. I don't know if this is an East German actual mask or a Soviet one, but this would be the best mask East Germany used. Well, they exist. Whether or not you can get one easily, I don't know. I wouldn't be interested in getting one, but they, in theory, exist. World War II had a lot more going on in it. Also, World War II had obviously a lot more of the technologies being developed and then, you know, actually working kind of well. Like in World War I, obviously, tanks and planes came in during the war, but they were very primitive, where obviously a massive part of World War II was the air combat and tank combat. That's interesting, laser point production, but yeah, well, is it like Mandarin and a few others, or is it like there's regional versions of Chinese? I'd actually have no idea. But yeah, I've got 2 Geiger counters and a radiation alarm. But if you've seen some of the streams before, you'd have seen sometimes I get a Geiger counter out and mess with radioactive materials on a stream. As I'll be going off this stream in about 10 minutes, I won't bother getting one out now. I will show you the boxer one though. But this is quite a good one that was sent to me by another YouTuber. The SOX 01M dosimeter / Geiger counter. So it reports beta and gamma radiation, and it's both a Geiger and a dosimeter, so it shows you what you're currently encountering, and it shows your cumulative dose, which is pretty good. You have a question, just ask. Don't say I have a question. I may buy a replica pepperbox revolver at some point. That's the point. I'm going to actually go on battle orders and see what they've got for sale, because I keep forgetting that they stock a lot of stuff now that Blades and Bows is closing. Old Western, I guess, is what I want to look at. Well, they do a British pepper box on there for 55 quid. I'd be more interested in getting a replica Brown Bess. My mate Max has a replica Brown Bess, which is really nice. It's very big and heavy. The coolest thing though is it has the actual socket bayonet for it. So, you know, you could in theory use it like a spear if you really wanted to. There's some quite nice, like Colt Navy and things on battle orders at the moment. I might at some point actually get another revolver, or I've already got 2. Also, apologies if the fans are buzzing quite loudly on the computer at the moment. I think as the room's getting hotter, the fans are whirring up a bit more. Oh, the Lamat revolver's quite nice. Quite like the look of that one. Sharp's rifle is quite nice. I suppose, yeah, I could get a Winchester replica, couldn't I? And that would be totally legal because it's a pre-1870 firearm. Yeah, 1860s pattern Winchester. Tell you what, for 169 quid, which the I know I'd have to pay a bit for postage. That is quite tempting me, actually. A replica Winchester, because that would look very good on the wall there if I could find a space for it. And I find the history of like the old repeater rifles quite interesting. Tiger is a better tank for one-on-one. T-34 is a much better tank in terms of logistics and mass production. So T-34 because you're more likely to win a war if you can produce T-34s and Tigers. No, the only Ghost Recon games I've played are some of the really old ones. I don't know if I've even played any of the Ghost Recon, saying that. I've played quite a few of the Tom Clancy games, but I don't know if I've played Ghost Recon. So I've played like quite a few of the Rainbow Six ones, like Rogue Spear, Vegas, Vegas 2, and obviously Siege. But no, I don't actually think I've played any of the Tom Clancy Ghost Recon games. Yeah, as I've said before, next year, hopefully, if I can afford it and I can get the time off work, I'll go on holiday to the US on a shooting holiday. That fan is getting really loud and annoying on the computer now. Luckily, I'll be finishing the stream in a few minutes, but yeah, it's really buzzing now. Like I was saying, because I'm going to be buying a new PC in a couple of months, it's not going to be an issue, but I think it's where one of the fans, the bearing's gone slightly on it, so I think when the fan whirs up to a certain speed, it just makes this grating noise. No, I don't have any Spetsnaz helmets. I don't think I have any Russian helmets. I've got some Warsaw Pact helmets that are very similar to Russian helmets, but I don't actually think I have any Russian helmets, or Soviet helmets. Well, in Siege, the only two masks that are modelled realistically that I can remember from it are Thatcher's SF-10 and Mute's M50, but Mute has the stupid tape over the exhale valve on his M50. So, in theory, Thatcher's SF-10 is the only realistically modelled mask in the game. The Chernobyl series is already out, as I've already said. Yeah, that one looks nice as well, Mike. I mean, if I was to get one, I'd look through all of them on the site and see which one I'd like the look of the most, but that's working lever action as well. Yeah, that's nice. But yeah, at some point I might be tempted to get one of those, because, you know, if I've got a bit of spare cash, it's, like I say, because deactivated guns now tend to be, like, way more than they should cost for a gun where you can't even move a charging handle or whatever. Yeah, something like a Winchester where you could actually cock it or whatever. Even obviously it wouldn't shoot, that'd be a lot more interesting to me. Yeah, an Israeli 4A1 is a good mask. No, I don't have an ACH helmet. I don't have any American helmets other than a clone of a US M1 and a clone of a Pascut, but neither of them are actually American. I think it's a Norwegian. It's either a Norwegian or a Danish M1 copy, and a British Armed Police copy of the Pascut. No point, Dr. Terminator Show, because it's not going to protect you. It might do Promi, but it's still one of those things where there's no point putting tape on it. Because rather than actually muting the exhale valve or the voice diaphragm, it's just going to increase the pressure inside the mask. So really, if Mute was walking around, it'd be going like the this mask was when I was demonstrating it. Don't ask illegal questions, Everton, that's your last warning. Anyway, I'll be finishing the stream in a minute or two, so if anybody's got any more interesting questions, feel free to ask them. As I said, I'll stream tomorrow, but I can probably stream in the evening tomorrow, but I'll announce a time during the day when I know what time I'm streaming. Denmark, as far as I'm aware, hasn't domestically ever made any masks. They've just bought other ones. Two of my light anti-gas respirator Mark 1 and my light anti-gas respirator Mark 2 have Danish surplus stamps on them, but they are originally British masks. You know, that Britain sold as surplus, then Denmark bought, and then Denmark later sold as surplus. But as far as I'm aware, Denmark has never actually made any masks. They've just bought masks from other countries. That's completely up to opinion, the mixer. My favourite's like the Avon S10 FM12 kind of ones, but again, it's completely personal opinion. I used to play War Thunder, haven't played it in years, but I got quite far in all the tech trees on all the nations and I just got bored of it. Sadly, I can't buy a replica Luger unless I buy one as an air pistol. You can't buy any replica guns post 1870 in the UK because of our weird laws. So you can buy deactivated guns post 1870, but you can't buy replicas post 1870. Weird, isn't it? Let me Google check M52 helmet so I actually know which one it is, Dr. Terminator. When I'm searching it... okay. In terms of looks, the Stahlhelm, like an M40 Stahlhelm, definitely. In terms of practicality, I'm sure the Czech M52 helmet is probably a bit better, because obviously it's a later production helmet. Out of all the old steel pot helmets I've got, my East German M56 and my Yugoslavian M5985 are my favourite steel pot helmets, because they both provide quite good ballistic protection from what I can tell. Oh, thank you very much, I appreciate that. Docombom Ghost, if I'm pronouncing your name right. Is that Danish kronas? But thank you, that's about £6 according to Google when I just googled it, so thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Thank you. The thing is, you're free to believe in what kind of ideology you want, but like I said, I'm opposed. I don't want to get too much into politics this stream, and I'm just finishing off this stream now, but as I said, I'm opposed to most authoritarian ideologies. You know, I don't like communism or Nazism, because both of them are pretty bad if you have to live under them. On paper, communism sounds wonderful, but the problem is most communist states have failed horribly and killed millions of people, and made everybody who lives under them really miserable. That's not to say every single thing about the communist states have been bad, but, you know, I would never want to live under one if I had the option. You know, just because, look at the USSR, look at, you know, communist China, look at North Korea, look at, you know, communist Romania, the list goes on and on, you know. Cambodia, Jesus Christ, Cambodia, you know. Yeah, generally Mixer, it's when people are trying to sell you a different mask, so they'll say the Israeli mask sucks because I want to sell you a much more expensive mask, whatever. Yeah, like I said, because I'm quite libertarian, you can believe in what you want as long as you don't push those ideologies on other people, you know. I really don't care what religion people follow or don't follow, what ideologies they believe in or don't believe in, you know, or stuff like that. But what I do have a problem with is if people try and push that on other people. So, you know, you're told you can't like the things you like, or whatever, because I think my thinking is better than other people's thinking. That's when it starts to get dangerous, because if you put somebody in a position of power that thinks they know best, and they have to correct the stupid people with whatever their ideology is, generally bad things happen. Anyway, I think that's a good place to finish this stream. Thanks, this has been a good stream tonight. Gone on for about 58 minutes, I've enjoyed it. As I said, I've been working today, so that's why I'm a bit tired and don't want to stream for longer. But thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you for the 2 people who donated, Dr. Terminator Show and Dom Combom Ghost, if I'm pronouncing your name right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, and don't forget, if you're interested in merchandise, the Teespring link's below, and you can get mugs and shirts with designs on. I think hopefully this week Bart's going to try and get another design out for like a novelty t-shirt kind of thing or whatever. But, right, see ya, and I'll be on mic stream in a bit. So, see everybody. Thanks, everybody.